the right feed.
Nice. Category Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, okay, good. Sometimes when Becca streams, my settings get screwed up, so. Okay, so in last life, you guys managed to destroy a pretty powerful dragon. And that's basically right where we left off because we ran a little late last time.
Bill had eaten some of the dragon, and Sashi has managed to get the heart out because she thinks the heart is going to be important in trying to figure out how to handle the time dilation.
Yeah.
Kind of...
By the way, as soon as Bill starts eating it, and you've seen Bill eat these things before and not have any issue, he starts grabbing his head and immediately passes out.
Well, I guess we're going to be carrying him back.
All right.
I kind of poke him.
Okay.
I don't know what the name is for the one of both arms over the shoulders, but that's how I'm. So we're about the same height. I don't think I can just carry him up like a damsel.
So fireman carrying the knoll.
That one. Yeah. I'll do that.
And then what else are you doing with the dragon?
Well, we already took the heart out. I don't know if it's... It seems creepy to take a sentient creature's hide, but how is its hide?
It's kind of rocky. Large crystalline deposits seem to be growing out of its skin.
Probably not good for armor then.
But maybe good for something.
Yeah.
I just want samples.
Okay.
Can we just take a tooth and a claw and a...
Yeah, could we...
Give me survival checks.
I don't remember if I've ever rolled well on this guy on a survival check, despite taking it.
Apparently, the number for today is 11.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, I even
my
rolled an
lucky
11,
number.
so yeah.
It's awfully better than it was last week, which was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So.
11 too. I have a +2.
Excellent.
Okay. So the you guys get like a tooth, probably a few claws. Getting the teeth out really tough because they seem to be made out of the deposits seem to have more of that crystalline structure to them. So they're unbelievably hard. The claws, they're a little bit easier to remove. But yeah, you have, so I would say you have about 4 claws, probably 2 incisors, like a canine tooth, and then the heart. To be clear, the heart is like this big.
Yes. That is my little kobold's main mission, is to carry the heart back.
Okay.
And then I take out my little shard and I go over to the rest of the body and I start chanting and waving it over it.
Your shard?
My little shard of necromantic energy.
Oh, okay.
I don't actually have any spells, so.
Okay.
But I just want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to fight it again. We just beat it.
Actually, give me an Arcana check.
That would be an interesting way to farm for XP, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Just kill something reasonably tough and keep rezzing it.
How's that?
God damn it. We don't bring it back, we just beat it.
So okay. So you start doing this, the crystalline deposits all over its skin, like they are amethyst, they're purple, start turning kind of black. As though some power was infusing into the dragon's body.
Well, that's not what you want to see.
That's not going to end really well. I kind of stop for a second. I look at everybody else.
Big eyes, like,
yeah. Whistler, what are you doing?
And then I start again.
Who's just sensing? I'm holding Bill, so I can't actually, but I like lean over and try flapping head. You like, no, stop it.
I guess Sashi will
Just
hold
drop
her
Bill
right
off.
here against the skull of the dragon in case it starts reanimating. Wait, to like.
Brutus
So
tells
are
me to
we-
stop it. I'll stop.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, like stop it.
Dragon
don't know
doesn't
what
seem to
that'll
be
do.
reanimating. Everybody but Whistler give me a perception check.
God damn it.
Okay.
Oh, thank God Storm's paying attention.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Storm, you sense like Whistler, you would automatically succeed because you were the one doing it. There does seem to be an infusion of necromantic energy into this corpse, but it doesn't seem enough to. It's a very big corpse. It would require a lot more energy than this in order for it to zombify or anything of that nature.
Storm just wipes his brow. Whew.
Future goals.
Future goals.
Whistler's Dracolich. Future's goals.
Yeah.
Sounds like a kid's book.
Okay.
Beyond that, is there anything else you want to do? I will say this: these are true amethyst deposits, although now a little blackened. It would take some time, but if you were worried about money, I mean, amethyst is a semi-precious stone. It's not like diamond, but it would still be worth money.
I'll
Sure,
take
Sasha.
some.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
we're all
we
down for that.
Yeah.
You say that there's
Word.
diamonds and stuff, amethyst. We're just right there. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Wood,
I would say
Daco-
Daco, you actually probably have the best chance of doing this with any kind of skill because of your background
Very well.
and your abilities. So
Then I guess he'll
Special.
come back in the room and start doing that for everybody.
I didn't know you weren't in the room. Did you?
At the end of the session, I started looking at whatever the fountain was on the left. but I
Oh,
figured
okay.
since we got
Actually,
past
let me
it,
switch you
probably
guys over to that
around.
map so that I can kind of.
So I figured that meant there was nothing there since we're not on the map anymore.
No. I mean, this place has been looted pretty severely thanks to a certain animated skeleton, but
There's the room.
it's a fountain. Go ahead and give me a perception check or an investigation check, whatever one you want. And please tell me which one you're doing, though.
Sure, they're both horrible. I'm going to go. Ooh, investigation's one higher. Not that it mattered.
Okay. I will say one thing about this fountain is the water here seems to be, it's not pure, but it's purifying. It doesn't have it seems to be losing some of that like
We might be
corruptive
physically
energy that it had before.
We might be physically close to that other dragon that was purifying water, or maybe they had a thing hooked up.
Or last time you saw Topaz, he was on the complete opposite side of the city.
Gotta start calling him Britta.
Maybe they've got a sewer line set up to share. I don't know. Daco's not the smartest guy in the world.
Okay.
He'll go in and start pulling amethyst for people because, do what you're good at.
Okay, I'll say you guys get about 2,000 gold worth of amethyst. Just
Nice.
I'm not even gonna have Daco roll. Like it's rocks. This is what he does. So,
While he's doing that, I want to look at the arrow-ridden bodies.
okay.
Do I recognize those arrows from the ones I identified earlier?
Yep.
Oh wait, no. Well, no, I didn't because I didn't take the magic ones for him.
No, but you do recognize the arrows as from the skeleton.
You need to bring him back and just send him forward for
He's
us.
very dead.
super dead.
He's bone powder.
Yeah.
I.
Speaking of arrows, then.
Other than a black. Oh, there it is. I found it. Never mind. I was
I already have 20 arrows, so I'm good.
Are there just normal arrows? I'll take arrows. Now that
Yeah,
I
they're
have
just
bow.
normal arrows. The corpses, by the way, are all those the cult. They look very similar to the cultists you saw before.
Okay.
They don't really have anything on them, but like in terms of weapons or gold, it looked like they were defending that chest that you found open. That I think I already gave you all the contents of.
Like, what kind of creatures were they?
They were dead elves.
Oh, okay. What are they wearing?
Kind of old like robes. They it looks like they've been sewn together, but also like there's a weird almost charring to them.
Like they were in Fuego at some point.
Yeah, but it seems from the inside out, not.
Ooh. Interessant. Not that I have a high investigation, but if I see Whistler looking at that, can I try and investigate and see if I can determine anything from it?
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of
Investigation check.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know if it would be anything else.
I mean, you don't learn anything that I haven't already told you.
Okay, no, that's fine. I think that's really cool. That's all.
Okay, so that's what you guys have. Is there anything else?
Did Duncan already investigate the fountain over here?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that.
To the limited extent of his ability, he determined that there is water that is self-purifying.
Okay. I'm not smarter than you, so I don't think Brutus will be able to help.
Okay. Well, I guess we can head back to town and maybe start. I don't know. Zashi will turn to Whistlers. Do you have any sort of spell or ritual to help figure out what we can do with this heart to help us against the time dilation?
He will make a minor illusion. Well, no, he won't even make a minor illusion. He'll reach into his cloak and he'll pull out his journal and he'll flip through it. He'll put it back, and then he will, yeah.
Okay.
And then
Take some time and research.
He'll make the sound of a church organ.
As soon as you actually say those, because you're the one holding the heart, right, Zashi?
Yeah.
As soon as you say those words, give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, that's better.
Okay. You don't really hear it. You feel it in the crystal. It goes, ba-bam. And then very briefly, it looks to you like everybody else is moving about 1/3 their normal speed.
Okay.
And then you shift back into.
That was weird. Did anyone else see that?
See what?
Oh.
For you guys, it looked really weird. Zashi started like blurred for a little bit.
Sasha, you okay?
Yeah. Everyone else started moving really, really slow, and the heart, which I guess she's kind of like holding in both of her arms, it beated.
Mm-hmm. You moved really fast.
You need
the
me to carry
illusion
it?
of a teapot, and then I do this. I dismiss it.
Daka will offer to carry the heavy stone if she needs, because I can encase it in earth. Insulation.
Do we think that would help?
I think maybe getting it back to the church and doing some research and maybe some tests might be a good idea.
Is it possible we would need?
You want me to encase it in some earth?
No, I don't. I do want to try something again. Time dilation? Does
Anything happen?
anything happen when she says that again?
At that point,
Nope.
after she says that, I want to examine the heart.
Okay. Give me a.
Mostly, I want to figure out if the time dilation is not equal, but words are failing me. Basically opposite. Like if it's canceling out the dilation for being in here, like if that 1/3 sped up is equal to the 1/3 that we're slowed down.
Yeah, you got it. It is if with the correct desire, you could. Zashi just has no way of harnessing it right now. Really, none of you like.
Okay.
You, it would require some time, but yes, if
It
these
didn't speed her up. It canceled the
Yeah.
slowdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we need its brain.
Well, I was thinking like to control it would be Brutus's thought. Because mind
Damn,
over
Brutus,
body.
look at you being all smartsy.
Well, he's just like, well, the brain makes the heart go thump, right?
So you're gonna try to get this thing's brain?
I mean, if no one tells him it's probably not necessary or a bad idea, why not?
Okay. I
Getting
do need
brain
a.
icky business.
So the skull is the most crystalline part of this thing's body.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need a strength check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. You guys here are a. Like, at first, you're like, I'll just carve out this, and then you realize it's going to require a certain application of your hammer, and you guys hear a giant just crack. It's like thunder as she splits, as not she, as he, as Brutus splits this skull wide open.
How? What?
The as soon as you do, give me a dexterity saving throw, Brutus.
Oh no.
Dex saving.
Okay. So you're going to take.
That would be a 17 if Brutus was within 10 feet of
Okay,
Sashi.
so you're gonna take half of this,
There you go.
and you won't be thrown back. So you're gonna take 8 points of force damage.
Still, thank God you did that, because oopsie, I forgot that we haven't healed yet.
And you feel like you're being pushed back, but you're able to resist the effects of being thrown backwards.
Okay.
Was
that just from like the pressure within the casing of its skull?
Yeah,
or
it
was that-
basically a bunch of force exploded out of the skull. You're also covered in brain.
Where
Damn,
did you lay down Bell?
Oh, good question. I mean,
She would have laid down Bill before this happened.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Probably behind.
Mainly because I don't think you could have swung the hammer correctly with.
Yeah, I was two hands, warhammer.
Underestimate his power.
So you're covered in like weird sticky brain substance right now.
Are there any globs that are still like? Is there a lobe, or is everything pretty gone?
No, it's a little mushy, but I mean, again, we're talking like the skull is the head is the size of you, so
Yeah, so there might be something.
yeah.
I think I have leftover cloth from like an old cloak. Can I wrap up a chunk in that and just kind of like tie it like those lunch bags, and I'll
Sure.
carry Bill, hold on to the brain, just this. I don't know what else to put. I don't have anything else to put it in. I'm just like, I'll sandwich.
Okay.
Right. Maybe Bill will appreciate a snack when he wakes up if the brain isn't useful. Or you can fry it.
Yeah,
But anyway.
sounds good.
Just in case, if we're gonna experiment on it, the more the merrier.
Okay. So you guys heading back to town? You exploring further in?
I think we're headed back into the temple.
Okay.
I think we should at least explore the rest of this room, though.
Okay. Well, Zashi can lead you down to the south area where she had gotten teleported, there wasn't really much down there.
Okay.
She'd come down here, over to the left. And then, oh, I lost my token. Stand out a little bit. And it just kind of goes to one of those, another long hallway with alcoves, and it looks like it might continue on.
To be fair, it's not represented on the map, but the in the alcoves is a bunch of statues.
I mean, we could investigate the statues.
Okay. I'm having a really hard time moving my token for some reason.
I don't know. Roll20 is the only thing that is cooperating with me this morning.
Yeah.
And then it kind of looks like there's steps that lead to the west, but that's probably heading into another section of the old city, I would think.
Yeah, it is leading down. Like, you're getting into areas that are deeply flooded.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go that far then, I don't think.
Yeah, and the statues, they're pretty much just like, it's hard to tell who they were. You're pretty sure there was some type of either elven royalty or elven nobility, or elven heroes. The problem is that elven statuary tended to look very samey. Around this time, like they're all kind of same like epic pose. Like there's like 3 standard poses they do. Everybody is.
Do they look particularly lifelike, or they look like statues?
They look like statues. In fact, I would say because of the area you're in, these are probably the least lifelike statues you've seen from elven artists. They're still good. They're still quality statues, but like they're not. It's not your typical elven art where
like
you
the statues in the prison.
What?
They're not like the statues.
Yeah, they're not that.
Which reminds me, we might want to try to check out a Remraz and then maybe start making some of the anti-stoning potions if we ever want to go back to trying to get the people out of the prison.
Ah, yes, Brutus.
By the way, did anyone level from that fight?
No.
I'm so close, I think, though.
Yeah.
No.
Brutus, Zashi, and I think Storm are all really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need one more big fight, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, one more big fight. Oh, well, maybe.
Okay, so you guys headed back, investigating the statues. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, if we're done with the statues, I would suggest we go back to the our church temple, get the heart in there, and maybe Whistler can try communing with his god, and maybe they have some insight into the heart. And side note, as far as Zashi's concerned, she thinks Storm and Whistler are on the same page when it comes to the wand of Orcus. Orcus has no idea that Storm was talking to Orcus.
Okay. You guys make your way back, relatively uneventful. I will say every once in a while, the heart does pulse, and like it to Zashi, it looks like everybody slowed down. To everybody else, it looked like Zashi basically teleported. Or like.
Oh, it's that fast. Like we don't even see a blur.
But no, I mean it's only 3 times as fast, so it's a bit more like Zashi suddenly became a car for a second.
What kind of horsepower are you getting over there?
It's kind of cool, but it's also kind of creeping me out.
I'm worried about the not knowing how to trigger or control it.
I nudge Storm and point every time that happens. Like she's faster than you.
See. Look how far ahead she is. She's not even trying.
I will need a Constitution check from Zashi though.
Okay, just a check.
Safe. Sorry. Safe.
Oh, that's not great.
Did you add your +3?
Yeah, that actually
Okay,
looks-
so Zashi, about halfway to the thing, like this heart is getting real heavy. You're not that strong. You take a point of exhaustion.
Okay,
I'll trade you if you want Bill.
sure, I can.
Bill's
drag
heavier than the heart.
I know, but if that's affecting her differently for some reason,
Or we could try the insulation technique.
How big is it? The heart?
It's sorry. It would be the size of like a grown man's torso.
Okay. I will summon the
Tenso's disc.
no, the horse. I will make Zashi's dead horse come back again.
Actually, since we actually finished that fight and I had a second level spell, no. Oh, you're talking about my actual dead horse, not my goat.
Yes, your actual dead horse. And this
Okay.
time it looks a little bit more dead. Like it's I'm intentionally making it look necromancery.
Okay.
is
With,
Whistler
like, missing
developing an
flash.
aesthetic?
Yep. I'm sorry we had to
Love
eat
that.
you buttons.
The hell did this happen? Was I not? When did you
Yeah, I actually can't remember this. This is the very beginning.
This
Very,
this
very
was that-
beginning.
yeah,
She
this
That's
sold
why
the
I
horse for
wasn't here.
food.
Yeah.
Oh,
I sold the horse because it was horse meat and it would be something that was actually worth more than our oxens to help us all get going. I sacrificed my horse for the party.
Well, now look,
Okay.
your horse is back.
I'm sad now.
Okay. So, yeah, you guys make it past the walls, switch out the horse. Zashi, you still have a point of exhaustion. It was just you don't have to make that check again.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's an uneventful trek back. I will say now that with you putting the stone on the horse, every once in a while it happens to the horse where it just
And that horse goes 100 feet per round, so
Oh, shit.
it's a
Well,
very,
well,
very
trade
fast
to come
horse.
back.
Mhm.
pretty
Well,
sure-
actually, technically, because you didn't give it until it was past the wall. So actually, once you get past the wall, it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
And although you do every once in a while, the heart does pulse.
Isn't it not supposed to do that once it's out the body? I mean, I don't think I have a super.
And
dimension,
actually, give me perception checks with advantage because I realized it's something.
Okay.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, well, mine is gonna be there.
Well,
eventually.
that one actually should have been with just straight for Zashi. So even if the second one had been higher, it would have been a 6 for me.
Yeah, 6 is not enough for this.
Yeah.
Is any okay? Other people are rolling.
Wow.
Oops.
I did it twice. Oh, oops. Well, oh, I'm rolling a d10. God damn it! I was like, wait, how did I get? Sorry.
Okay.
My actual roll 19.
And 19. So 19, a 22, and did Whistler roll?
Yeah, I just rolled it under the wrong name, but it's
Okay.
16.
Okay. Oh, okay. So Whistler, Daco, and Brutus all during one of these pulses. So the heart pulses, you actually notice it, but you hear something like thunder behind you. The rest of you probably would hear that, but as you turn around, it looks like when the heart pulsed, that floating tower that kind of dominates the skyline in Malys over the things seems to have shifted down slightly. Like it actually starting its fall.
Like collapsing or shrinking or.
Well, it's been in a perpetual state of collapse for the past
Yeah.
1,500
Okay.
years. It looks like it's
Sorry,
actually
it was-
moving now.
Finally
Yeah, it's
fallen.
just-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Sorry. What is
we should take this heart to one of the other dragons and just be like, what do we do?
I don't think that's a good idea. From what Topaz said, its other siblings are either crazy or psychotic and tested experiments on their siblings, or
So they'll be ideal storehouses of knowledge on how to do something with it because of the experiments.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
I think
If
we're
we
going
don't
to
like
end up
what they're
doing
doing,
that
we just
anyway.
kill them
So.
too. I mean, you know.
Like inherently because of their relationship, I feel like Brutus goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." But Brutus
mean-
also really needs a good night's sleep. Like,
if
he
we
need-
don't
he
like
needs
what
a-
they're doing, we just kill them, and then we have 2 dragon hearts.
2 dragon.
Well, I thought Brutus said that we needed to kill the other dragons anyhow.
Yeah, but we can use them for knowledge first.
I couldn't remember
Brutus
if that
is
was
that
player
smart.
knowledge or not, so I was trying to get to that like as
No, it was because the wild hunt
Okay.
guy told me.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, we should totally just use this as our in. Hey, what do we do with this? See what we can get out of them, and then
Oh, then we crack
So-
their heads.
Okay. Just to recap, you know that Sapphire is insane.
Mm-hmm.
She is so telepathic and can't control her own telepathy. She's ridiculously nihilistic and despises people.
my kind of girl.
Well, according to Topaz.
Yeah, according to Topaz. He really didn't mention too much about Ruby. Emerald experimented on everybody. And I actually can't. I'll have to check my notes if you mentioned the other one. So
Pretty sure he did.
Opal.
Oh no, he did mention Opal, but I forget what he said about Opal. It was different than the other dragons.
Wasn't it that Opal was more reasonable? One of them was notably more reasonable.
Ruby
than the
is.
others.
Ruby's
It was
significant.
Ruby.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know
Ruby's
if it was-
significantly more reasonable.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right though. It was something about Opal.
Yeah, I'm
don't
blanking.
If he mentioned anything, he would have said that he didn't know Opal particularly well. Opal's by far the youngest of them.
Maybe that was it then. Just that since.
I thought he had said something about the experiments of the other siblings.
He might have mentioned that Emerald was trying to. Emerald actually created Opal
Yeah, that's
out of
what
the
I-
rest of them.
That is what I am remembering, is that he had mentioned that Emerald's experiments on the other siblings created Opal.
So I think that Emerald is definitely the one we should talk to. He's knowledgeable about experimenting on the siblings, which means if we bring him a piece of them, he might have some ideas for how to use this in a constructive way to prevent that from falling.
Okay, so I will say Topaz let you know where all of them are. He didn't tell you which one is where.
Right.
Okay.
Fairly convenient.
Is the tower large enough that if it were to collapse, it would cause damage to the town?
No, I mean it's big. It's ridiculously big. It dominates the skyline, but
It's out in the bay.
hmm?
It's out in the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was so large, I didn't know if it could be seen from town. If it was also.
Oh yeah, you can definitely
Oh,
see it from
exactly.
town.
But I know that, but that's what I'm saying. It's not if it was so big. You're like, oh yeah, that would fall right here. Just checking.
Also, so here's a weird thing. Apparently, it's falling, but it's lost all momentum. So it's gonna fall straight down. I would say whoever Daco would probably have realized that it just dropped. When it originally exploded, might have caused some debris problems.
Okay, but this is just gonna kind of sink in on itself.
Yeah.
But that means anything inside of it is gone. Using as a defense when these demon hordes and devil hordes and who knows what else hordes come is gone. I like that up there. It's nice. It's like a backup plan / hey, maybe there's even some cool stuff inside. You never know. Both of these things appeal to me up there.
Well, and didn't we also know that 3 of them were captured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's one more that was captured.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Safi that was captured? Or was it Ruby?
So it Topaz is So Safi would have been captured. Ruby would have been cooperating with Emerald, but as more of a like.
Self-defense type thing.
Ruby actually cares about their siblings, even though no one gave a shit about them. So Ruby would have been like Emerald would have been like ransoming everybody for Ruby's cooperation.
Right.
Is that because they wouldn't have had the power to do the experiments and things they want to do without Ruby?
You guys wouldn't have been like you guys didn't ask that at that point. So
Okay. Oh no, I just was asking, the kind of information that we'd be able to infer from it. But if that's not part of it, then don't worry about
I mean, you guys could give me an ad like posthumous insight check, and I can if you want.
Sure, because it was something that hadn't occurred to me at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, not that my insight is any kind of good.
I mean, the other option is after we check out the heart in our temple for a little bit, we could send a message to Topaz about the tea get together that he had offered and ask him some more questions.
With 15, I mean, Topaz is by his nature really hard to read. So.
Yep.
Okay.
And we are on a clock because he points at the tower again. It is noticeably lower.
Yep.
It's not that much lower. I don't know what you're talking about. Seems in the same place to me.
Brutus starts walking just a little bit faster because he has to wait. Vamonos, people.
Okay, so you guys get back to town. What do you guys want to do?
I mean, I know we all need a rest, but
Yeah.
I think we'll put Bill in like his little nest area and like swaddle him so it's super awkward.
Bill is out. He also seems to be slightly drooling.
Yep, that's why I want to swaddle him so that when he wakes up, he's all wrapped up like a burrito.
And not at all panicking.
No, definitely
Not at all panicking.
Oh my god, I love it. Yes. Little burrito blankie. Okay.
Do we want to take
He does keep on whispering something about a night orb, whatever the fuck that means.
Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Didn't he say night orb bad? He said not to let him touch mirrors and something about a night orb, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a thing? Is there something we should do about? And I'm just gonna gesture it.
Someone needs to turn in his letter of resignation at the sheriff's office.
Zashi already helped him with that. He put
Okay.
in 2 weeks' notice because of all the mirrors.
Too many mirrors here.
Yeah.
We can never have Splendid's parties.
I mean, after we take a rest, we could actually try to go through our library collection and see if we have any information on the night orb, or we could try to go back to that other library and try to get more books. But then we'd have to deal with the swarm who
The what?
the swarm. They're little
What's that?
they're rats with little cute brains that are exposed. They're
I remember those.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember who else remembered other than Zashi and Whistler. And Brutus. I don't remember who else.
Daco does not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna look at you like, you don't remember Big Scorpion? Left little
I will
rat?
say, everyone that remembers them could just cast a remove curse on anybody that doesn't.
Yeah, when I soloed the giant scorpion, that I remember.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would.
Well, right now, Zashi, Brutus, and Whistler.
Yeah.
Remember that.
But I'm pretty sure the only one of us that can cast remove curse is Whistler.
Yes, and I'm at a third level spell slot, so.
If Brutus isn't the best with what you call them, magic.
And is it really
Right.
important that these people remember that?
It's okay.
So you guys taking a long rest then?
Yeah, Zashi will actually re-summon King before she takes the long rest.
Okay.
I will definitely take a long rest.
What time of the day is it?
It's really early.
Yeah. So I want to use some of the day
Okay.
before I take mine. So
Mhm.
Actually, I didn't really take many hits, so I will re-summon King, but yeah, I should actually use some of the day before I sleep.
Brutus will walk along and help, but he's
okay.
being ginger about it and like not wanting to bump into walls or anything.
I mean, I will allow everybody that wants to heal to take a short rest.
Okay, we'll do that for
yeah.
now then.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you.
takes me an hour to summon King anyhow, so that's perfect.
So
Guys, Brutus has like 10 hit points.
Yeah,
Whistler
you
was
take
Whistler was totally listening, but Tucker
Yeah.
was not. What did what did Zashi want to ask the swarm, or what did Zashi want out of the library?
So Brutus is concerned that Bill is muttering about the night orb, and
Okay.
Zashi had mentioned that if we can't find anything in our library, we could try to go back to that other library to find more books, but then we'd have to deal with the swarm, and the swarm was pissed at with us last time we left because of actually Daco one-shotting that purple worm and flooding a whole bunch of the area and killing a whole bunch of the swarm's rats.
The who?
Okay. I will hand you a pen and a piece of paper, and I do this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm guessing that you want me to write a note to the swarm, so that's what I'm going to do, and I am going to write a
Well,
note.
he hasn't told anyone he's working with the swarm.
Yeah, Zashi does not know you're
Yeah.
working with the swarm. She's just guessing.
Or she's making a list of the things that she wants
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah.
So her note is actually, again, an apology and a request for a truce for them to go back to the library.
Okay.
Maybe add something about how the world may be ending. They might have a vested interest.
Oh,
Maybe they can help expedite research.
um,
If Brutus is there.
yeah, since Brutus is there, and this would be before we do our short rest and whatnot. Sashi
So
will actually,
it's a request for us to go to the library.
yes.
Okay. So when Whistler sees you write that, he makes a he makes he do we have like pipes or anything laying around, or
Sure, well, you actually definitely somebody has pipes to the sewer. I can't remember. Oh no, that was a different game.
That's
Oh
the
my
new game.
God.
That'll
they're
I'm gonna have a
oh,
witch
okay. I just pick up a bowl then,
Mhm.
and I hold the bowl, and then I make an illusion of water in the bowl, and I shrug.
Sashi looks at you. Sashi looks at you puzzled. Are you worried about the flooding? I mean, the swarm did definitely survive this flooding. I mean, a lot of their numbers.
And then I do this over my bowl to the water, and then and then I change my illusion so that there's a little mouse running right across the water.
You want me to ask them for assistance to get to the library?
I then I go and I point at our books, and then I take another piece of paper and I just start writing down titles of what our books are.
Mm-hmm.
Show you, and then I crumble it up and throw it away.
Oh, you want me to ask? You want me to ask the swarm for specific books? I don't know the names though, so it'll just have to be kind of a random description of what we're looking for. Okay.
Rats are librarians.
I will.
It had a blue cover with silver text on it.
I will rewrite the note again, starting with the apology and explaining why we need the information, that we are trying to learn more about this heart we found, not really specifying which heart we found, as well as prepping for an incursion of a whole bunch of outer planar entities. And I will list kind of the information we're looking for, information about gemstone dragons, time dilation, outer planar beings, Orcus. Shit, what else would we be looking for? Help, guys.
Are you asking about the night orb?
Oh, yes, and the night orb.
Okay, as soon as you write down night orb, please give me an intelligence saving throw, Becca.
This Beetlejuice nonsense. What about what Brutus said earlier?
Okay. I will say this with a nat 20, not only do you resist the effect, the text seems to like writhe and scrawl as soon as you write night orb down, as though every time it's mentioned or written down, there's might be consequences to those actions.
Seeing that, I also write a note. Also, do not mention this thing, little arrow. And do not write its name again if at all possible.
That's just what we need the rats to be. Ugh, to
Like,
fail
as a
their role.
chorus, they all chant his name and then like up the apocalypse.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so all of those things, and Sashi will hand the note back to Whistler for you to review.
Yeah, cool. Oh, he takes the note, and all he does is he takes out his pen, and at the very bottom of the list, he draws a hammer and a picture of a boat.
How to build a boat.
Motherfucker.
Yes, I want a boat.
And yeah, and I will I mean, because people have to do their other stuff, but I will resummon Flap and have him deliver that note with cheese.
Okay.
I just realized something I was going to ask. Since I'm from an island and I did get off, was that...
Oh yeah, you know how to build a boat.
Huh?
If you're asking if you know how to build a boat, you definitely know how to build a boat.
Oh, okay. If I see him write that, then I'll point at that and go, I know how to build a boat.
But I'm going to leave it on there when I send the thing. But
Yeah.
I'm happy that, yeah.
Brutus wouldn't know, like, how to make probably a good one. But
I mean, there's a decent one. It's gonna be perfect. You know how to make an ocean going like
yeah.
but like for this lake, it would be perfectly live. Now that said, you're not entirely sure if you can source the materials because you're used to using like tropical woods and things like that, and you're in a desert.
And it's gonna act totally differently in the way that it is. Yeah.
Especially because desert ironwood tends to be super dense, so it has a tendency to sink.
I will also create an illusion because I don't want to go grab it with my engine. What do you say that you know how to make a boat?
Oh my god, can I make a speedboat? Yeah, Brutus won't know anything about any of that, but he can help.
Okay.
He wants to help Whistler.
What's everybody else doing?
Daco's working on fortifying Daco's place.
Which I'm
How
sure
are you
Jay
fortifying Daco's place?
big spikes
yeah.
on everything.
Yeah, spikes, trenches, secret tunnels, secret doors. Like he's
Okay, that's gonna
basically
probably
creating
take
his
you
own,
all
like,
day.
labyrinth around Daco's place.
In fact, the more complicated you make it, the longer it's going to take you. So it's
and Daco's got time right now, so he's just using his time.
okay. Go ahead and because I'm assuming you're using your spell casting to do
Yes.
this. So go ahead and
Jay
give me
help
your
with, like,
spell cast.
making pyrotechnics traps.
Go ahead and give me a spell casting check.
Scott, we can't hear you.
Yeah, your mic did something funny.
Can you hear me?
Nope.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it was weird. Just all of a sudden.
Yeah, it all of a sudden cut out. The only reason I knew he was talking is because I could hear him in the other room.
Yeah, I could hear him through your mic too.
But I actually have pyrotechnics as a spell, so
Okay.
can I help?
Okay, I'm dropping the call and then
I'll let Jay help
rejoining.
Daco make Daco's place.
We still
That was I love you.
Hey, he's back.
Is he back?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was so weird.
You were frozen on my side, so I think it was a connection thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a connection thing. Is like I had to close the window. None of the buttons worked. None of the settings worked. It was
It's really creepy because on the big screen you're talking, and your little thumbnail is not.
Oh, dear. It's moving for mine.
So when you're not the main focus, you look frozen, but when you're talking on the big screen, that one's moving.
Fun
Times.
Ah.
Is he gone again?
Hello?
He's
Yeah.
enough.
I
He's
still
really
see him.
still.
Okay.
just
He's reading something.
Gotcha.
I have to now fix the stream because I dropped the call. So
Yeah.
the-
It's just fun because again, when you're not the big screen,
There it
it's just frozen on the little screen for me.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it's like, is he still there?
So what was the last thing that you guys heard? Sorry.
You asked me how we were fortifying, and then you said you assume I'm using my, and I said earthbending, and heard nothing else after.
Okay, go ahead and give me a spellcasting check.
Spellcasting check.
Yeah, your
Fine.
spellcasting modifier.
So it's just. It's not.
I don't know if it cut before then, but I requested that if Jay could help set up pyrotechnics traps, since that's an actual skill she has.
Yeah.
For
Are
Dr.
you including proficiency on that, or just the ability?
Yeah, proficiency as well.
All right, I'll just add the proficiency manually because that's easier.
Okay, and go ahead and do that with. I'm going to take your advantage check on that because you were getting help from Jay.
Okay, cool. Well, that plus 3.
So
Well, there you
21. Okay. Yeah, you do pretty well. Primarily with the help of Jay, who tends to add a lot of explosives.
And
Probably an
you wanna do
inordinate
that,
amount of
I need you to
explosives.
go this direction.
We also have a suggestion from the chat on stream for a secret tunnel that could help with Dako's place to get out of town. I don't know if that's already a thing, but
Yeah.
Okay.
The for the Hall of Heroes and statues and stuff, so
ooh,
already
yeah.
underground.
Okay. Storm, what are you up to?
Oh man.
Yes, Storm.
I don't know. Storm doesn't know.
Okay, Storm is just hanging out. Zashi, you doing anything?
Get to work, you lazy lout.
Well, after I summon King, which does take an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and Brutus wakes back up.
Okay, so you're spending. Okay, it's the hour, so that's what you're doing that initial, because that's how long it's going to take for the rats to get back to Whistler. So
Yeah. So
And-
it depends on Whistler and whether the rats are back yet, as
Okay.
to what Sashi's going to do.
okay, and then Brutus.
I was just gonna take the short rests, but I don't want to completely derail it with discussion of magical tattoos, but that'll be something that I'm gonna pretend Brutus only just heard about, since I personally wasn't there for that part of the session at the first one. That would be something he would probably be wanting to look into at this point, something for protection or something.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me I'll have to bring up the UA quick, but go ahead and give me an investigation check. We'll see. This will determine weirdly how good the tattoo artists are, which ones they can give you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't want to completely derail us now because we could talk about it off or out of session, but
No, is it? Yeah, we'll get to that.
I love the idea of him just a full sleeve of garbage.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be just absolute trash. Like, we're talking like
tribal,
like
just
tribal prison tattoos from that guy without.
I couldn't be happier.
Okay.
I'm happy with this. All right, that's all I wanted. We'll figure
Okay.
it out later.
So
you.
we'll go back to Whistler real quick. But yeah, you find, and I'll give you the effects of it. You're going for the protection one, so I'll explain it in a little bit. But so Whistler, as always with your meetings with the swarm, a single cranium rat appears. Looks over your note and immediately starts just like scratching and like trying to destroy the name Night Yorb like as soon as possible. As soon as it sees it.
Okay. I just get my pin out and I cross it out.
Okay. At which point
Like,
you just hear in your head that's like Do not speak of this being. Ever.
That is absolutely no problem for me.
Yeah.
But it's already too late for the rest of the people.
I think so far, Bill, Brutus, and Sasha have all said it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the note, Zashi did point out after she had written it down and noticed all that stuff. Also, do not speak of this being and do not write its name with a little arrow. So,
Why?
Actually, it does explain it. It is a creature of thought and nightmare. It exists. It both exists and doesn't exist. Its existence is dependent upon the amount of creatures that know of it and call to it. It manifests through the latent consciousness and gestalt of the creatures that hear of it. It spreads itself like a thought plague. It will consume worlds. The knowledge of its existence.
Okay. How about the rest of the list?
Yeah, the rest of the list is fine. Actually, and just like you want, it looks at building a boat, and do you want to learn how to build a boat, or would you like a pre-made boat?
Both.
Okay, and then it scutters off. And
Why?
it does actually let you know it's going to be a bit. While it's easy enough for me to send one of my observers, actually bringing you items, like, that's going to take a day.
That's faster than I thought.
You just see rats carrying books.
I love this mental image.
Skitter, skitter, skitter.
And a boat, apparently.
Oh my god, an entire boat being carried on the back of a bunch of rats.
Yeah.
The boat's less important.
And so it skitters off. So I mean, that was your first hour. Is there anything else Whistler wants to do the rest of the day?
Okay. So it only took him an hour to get back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
You get the sense that they are constantly watching you.
okay. So I need. Is there a jeweler in town? Did we establish that?
Mhm.
Okay. I want to go to that jeweler's.
Weirdly enough, it's the same guy that's doing Bruce's tattoo.
I just found if we need it's a normal link. Look at that. I'm so proud.
Oh,
Something
amazing.
like
We already
that.
sell all the Arcanite to Kaylee.
No, so Kaylee did not want any of the Arcanite. We do have a standing deal with Abernathy. We do have, because of the amount that he can take at any time, we still have. Get soon tight. We still have 738 pounds of the Arcanite. So
Okay.
a good amount, and we still have. We were not in there very long. We still have a full week before we can sell any more to Abernathy.
Okay. I just want like a good roundish chunk, as close to like round as I can find of Arcanite. Maybe like softball size.
Okay, so as you, I will say, as you get there, you go to it's actually a jewelry shop. It's not a tattoo shop. It's a jewelry shop. But in a chair is your friend Brutus with a rather skinny, kind of malnourished wood elf gentleman with like large. They're jeweler's goggles, but it seems to be like etching into Brutus, but like it's an old time. It's not like a tattoo gun. Like it's a
It's the
tap, and his hands seem to be shaking. It.
Yes. Oh, it's not even like smooth lines. It's all.
Yeah, this is.
I'm so happy.
Does he have more than one set of tattooing tools?
Yes.
This was
How fun!
your canvas, sir.
While he's doing that, I grab one of the tools that aren't sitting there, and I line up on the other side of Brutus.
I look over. What are you gonna do?
Give me a performance check.
Oh.
Oh, well, give me a dex performance check. Sorry. The charisma doesn't really make sense on this, but.
Okay. Well, in that case, it is 4 points higher than whatever I'm going to roll.
Okay. Brutus, Whistler's tattoo better than the tattoo you get.
I'm just tattooing our logo.
Yeah.
Our Murder of Crows logo
Okay.
on you.
It's a very good tattoo. Like,
Ooh.
it's not magical like the other tattoo is going to be, but.
Actually, because it's the logo that's already been drawn by somebody else, it's actually a 22 because I get advantage on those.
Yeah.
So it's like crisp. You've got solid lines. It's
Mhm.
minimal bleeding or swelling.
There's some like gradient work in there, some like
Very
uh, the as the one guy's like, can I help you? By the way, he does not take the goggles off, so you're just seeing huge like eyes on the other, like
He's wearing glasses, like.
well, like he's wearing like
bottom
jeweler's
glasses?
magnification goggles. So
God. That's...
So
Okay.
Sashi is with Whistler at this time, so she'll start flipping through. I imagine he has some sort of display of his artwork.
of tattoos, no. Of jewel, you get the
Of
sense that
jewels.
he does tattoos as like a like spare time thing. He's actually a jeweler.
No, his jewels, his
Okay.
jewelry.
Okay.
So I pick up that piece of Arcanite
Mhm.
and I show it to him. And then in my other hand, I make an illusion of basically like a big, brilliant circle cut gem, but kind of the color of the Arcanite.
Okay. He's like, I don't usually facet my own, but yeah, I can manage manage that.
And then I make a cha-ching, ka-ching sound, and I shrug.
He looks at the softball-sized gem that you have, and then looks at what you illusioned, and be like, I'll just take the scrap. Honestly, it's easy enough to facet a gem as long as you're willing to sell me the discarded pieces. Let me get done with this, and he's still just. At this point, Brutus, you notice that he's not even looking now.
Yeah, he's just been talking. And
Yeah.
doing this, and I'm just like, oh, well, at least I've got one good one.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Now I got what I want, so I leave. So you've got a really good one that's like 90% done.
I imagine you did it, but you didn't finish like the text because the text is the last thing you do. So you did everything, and it doesn't say Murder of Crows; it's just blank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's okay.
I think I started it. I think it says like Mur.
Brutus still. I did it in chat. I'll offer you. I've been holding on to an animated zombie skull. I forgot about this since we fought them at like the second episode. If you want choppers, since you're into necromancy now, Brutus will offer it to you. That's the only thing that I had in my inventory that I was like, I think Whistler would like this other than just money. Like this looks more fun.
He'll take anything anybody gives him. So yeah.
From just my bag, I have the bag of brains still with me, I'm sure. I dig in the other bag and I pull out an animated zombie head that starts chomping. I'm just like, thank you. Do you want him? His name is Choppers.
Yep. I grab it and I hug you and probably touch where I just cut into your flesh.
It's okay. I'm like,
um,
hello on it. Whatever they would have.
the jeweler is. We'll get started on that. Zashi, you're in here. He has a lot of good pieces. I will say the very back of the book might be like his sketch pad that will have some tattoos in it, but for the most part, like.
Yeah, so I look at my Dustborn markings and then at his sketches and go, I like mine better. And I imagine he doesn't really respond to my Dustborn markings because anyone that's Dustborn would have some sort of markings like that. So
yeah. Okay. Well, to be fair, he's actually you wouldn't be able to tell if he's Dustborn or not. So as for the jewelry pieces, most of them are. There is nothing magical in this shop. He can set magical gems, and he obviously has some tools that allow him to make magical tattoos. But there's nothing in this shop currently that's magical.
okay.
In fact, most of what you see in this shop seems to be unset jewelry pieces. Like they're fully crafted, but you would have to socket in a gem, basically. You see like necklaces and rings and earrings and the like.
Good to know, but not something Zashi needs right now. So she'll head back out and pat King, who's probably chewing on something in front of the store.
Around this time, I will say that like hour would be ridiculously quick for a tattoo, but I will say like he is like. Well, I think that's it for today. My hands getting a little numb. That will be 250 gold.
Okay.
And then he wipes off, and then like just goes off. Like he doesn't give you any care instructions or.
So, do you want me to roll for any of that? Because I would ask around.
I would say,
Also,
considering the culture and like where you're from,
I
and
imagine
where.
prison tattoos would be something of a norm where I'm from.
Yeah, like
Yeah, okay.
you're aware that you're kind of like, man, this guy's really shitty.
Yeah, I'll make a note not to come back to him for the next one. I imagine also in an hour he didn't do that whole arm. Maybe he just did like one or two of those stupid snaky lines.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, like little dots at places.
Oh my god, it's like pointillism tattoo.
Yeah.
Like he didn't actually, especially since it's hand tap, it wouldn't be lines. He just did the dots.
Yeah.
I still love it.
I see Brutus just like, I could do better than this.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I should open up my own store.
You should, but be nice. He's learning. This is for his portfolio. Sorry.
But yeah, so you get done. Again, actually, give me a quick. I need to look up these rules. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just looking for something like a shield kind of thing, some kind of negating damage, physical defendy type situation.
There is one that like counts as armor, but isn't armor.
Okay. Well, actually, so this is not. Actually, can you go ahead and give me a roll of D10 for me?
Sure. 3.
Okay, so as you're pretty sure at first you think that your tattoo might be infected because it starts turning red. You as long as you attune to it, you have resistance to fire.
I'll take it.
Nice.
I would probably Who would I go to for? I think this is infected. Can you check? I don't know if I would go to Zashi. Like,
Storm.
Zashi.
Go to Storm.
It is really angry too. Like it is getting poofy.
Yeah. Yeah, when Brutus comes up like that, I'll give her him 5 hands of lay on hands, and when it doesn't go away, it's not actually.
Well, no, actually the swelling does go away, but it's still red. So it was infected. It just
Yeah. Well, that should make it feel a little bit better.
It does feel better, thank you. But guys, don't. I wanted to give him some experience for his portfolio, but don't go to him. Give it a couple
Protection
years.
from fire and vulnerability to disease.
pretty much, yeah.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, I will mark that somewhere.
You get the sense that any of you could pay him 250 gold and get resistance to something, but it's gonna require. But even he doesn't really know what his ink does, so it's gonna require a D10 roll.
It's like a roulette.
Yeah.
Something will happen. Mm.
If you could take the terrible artwork on your body for the
Until-
rest
That's
of
the
your
other thing
life.
is that you'll have to have horrible artwork.
Horrible.
Ugh.
I bet I'll get it covered up someday, but for now, it's fine.
Just start looking like maybe Whistler should do it. Just
Yeah, I
with
was gonna say,
the better
have-
ink.
Yeah, just have Whistler do it, but with the magic part.
If you can source the ink, it is the ink that and the amount of ink on your body that creates the magical effect. So if you were able to, like, honestly, the reason why is because he's basically not even an apprentice tattoo artist. Like the 250 is basically covering the cost of the materials.
Yeah, that's usually.
Yeah.
All right. Thrilled with this.
I,
Let's go fight a fire dragon.
Okay.
If
It is an attunement item. I want to make it really clear.
Yeah,
You're-
I don't have any other attunement stuff, so I would
Yeah.
attune to it. Was
You
that
are
and it was
attuned-
resistance, right?
you are attuned to the cloak of protection.
Oh yeah. God, I keep forgetting that because I don't think I have it tuned actually right now.
So that she has. So Brutus has the tattoo. Anything else you guys didn't do in that today?
so after I leave, I got to go over to Kaylee's.
Okay. Kaylee is in her shop, hammering on something. Actually, I think this is one of the rare times Kaylee's not at her anvil. She's sitting down, just kind of like having some type of hot beverage and relaxing. She doesn't have any orders going on right now. So.
What does she have for shields? Just
Um,
sitting around at the shop that I can see.
Just a smattering of standard shields, like nothing particularly special.
Okay. What about for armor?
She's she has various she doesn't have any full plate on hand, but she has all standard armors. She also has 2 armor sets. One seems to be leather armor with like studs that has a slight abjurative effect, and the other seems to be this extremely shiny half plate that seems to be like the metal seems very tough but also unbelievably thin, and so it's super light.
Okay. That's cool. I go and I pick it up. And I do this and feel really strong.
Mm-hmm. It's about half the weight it should be.
And I look at her, cha-ching, cha-ching.
She looks at it and is like, that would be 1,500 gold.
And then I look at I turn around and look at it, and I point to the back, which I'm sure is just, the back of the breastplate. And then I pop my wings.
Oh, she's like, yeah, I can make a wing slot for it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be broke again.
Okay, that's mithril half plate.
That's awesome. I put it down and then I look at their shields and I grab just a standard shield
Mm-hmm.
and I walk up and then I put it on awkwardly because I'm not proficient in any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just wave my hand over it and I make the symbol of the murder of crows. Hopefully there's one that's like round. I'm looking for kind of a round,
Yeah, the standard shield shape of this area would be a round shield. So
okay. And then I want that emblem. I'm illusioning that emblem on there.
and she was like, I can definitely, like, you're buying the mithril half plate. We'll just comp this.
With a big pit right where the crow's eye would be. About a little bit smaller than baseball shaped.
Okay. Yeah, she like, since you're buying the mithril plate, she doesn't even charge you for it. She was just like, I'll comp it.
Yeah. So
She's gonna charge you for the shield, but
okay. So how much is that shield?
5.
Okay. And then I make a tick 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 sound.
Give me a day. Come back tomorrow morning. Like, doing this stuff isn't gonna take her time.
And I say I hold up 3 fingers.
2 days. You actually see her. She actually puts one hand on it, and she doesn't make the hole, the divot. She's gonna actually put that in, but her hand puts it, and you actually see the etching appears. It looks like she has a spell specifically for this.
Okay, cool. And then I hand her over a crap ton of gold.
Okay.
Well, gold and silver and copper and
Okay.
my money bag right now probably weighs more than the armor.
Yeah. By the way, because it is so half plate usually weighs 35 pounds, so it weighs what, 17.5 pounds.
Sweet.
You're not proficient in medium armor, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
He's waiting for the next level.
Waiting for the next level. So I don't need it tomorrow, but I'll take it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else anyone wants to do that day?
Well, when Whistler had gone to Kaylee,
Mhm.
Zashi was still with him, but Zashi just pays Kaylee the amount she can,
Mm-hmm.
thanks her and says this armor is amazing. Almost paid up, by the way,
Mhm.
but that's out of character. I'll see you again soon. And then Zashi leaves, and she actually heads down to where the hallowed ground area where the staff of Orcus is to make sure nothing has happened to it or the diamond.
Make sure it's still there.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
Yeah.
Lucky for y'all, my earthbender is not Rindle.
You know what though?
That shit would have been gone.
It would have been gone as soon as.
Okay, how are you checking the hallow?
So let me check real.
Oh, for something's definitely happening.
That does not help with hallowed.
You definitely have one thing that will do this.
Yeah, I was thinking of using my paladin ability.
Divine Sense.
Yeah, divine sense. That's
Yeah, okay. So you ping Divine Sense. And the hallow effect is still there, but it's weakening. As though somebody is chipping at it from the outside.
And is the staff still there?
No. Yep.
Okay.
However, yeah, the staff's still there.
Yeah, my investigation is only an 8. I have disadvantage right now.
Yeah.
But I know the hallowed something's chipping away at the hallowed spell.
Uh-huh.
I do not believe I have any spell that can actually do the hollowed condition to help bolster it. I do not. So, I am going to head back to our temple after resetting the traps and everything else
Mm-hmm.
and wait for Whistler.
Okay.
And while I'm waiting, because I'm sure he's going to be a while, Sashi's going to take a bath
Okay.
because we've done a lot of adventuring. She feels
Yeah, you know, I forgot I'm coated in brain. That might be why my tattoo got infected.
maybe.
British can go take a bath too.
Okay.
And yeah, oopsie.
By the way, that Sacco brain is beginning to smell real bad. I don't know if
Yeah,
people
but
know
really-
this, but generally speaking, brain is primarily
Yeah.
fat and tannins. So
it
it,
goes bad real fast.
yeah.
Where were we? Where did we put the heart? Where's that?
So
at?
the heart is in the temple.
I'll just and put the bag next to it. Not like contamination style, but like if it's on a table, the bag of brains on the floor next to
Okay.
it. I'm just keeping the pieces together. It's a puzzle. We'll figure it out later.
Now, I do imagine we requested a couple of our followers to keep an eye on the heart while we're out doing errands and things. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's not like it's unattended, but they probably have kind of disgusted looks on their faces when you drop the brain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, they're
Close
really
that wrap
grossed
in.
out by it.
Yeah.
They do let you
Fine.
know nothing has gone on. It's a really big, pretty crystal, but
Okay.
nothing's happened.
Cool.
And they even mentioned like the like I don't know what you were talking about pulsing. It hasn't pulsed since it got here.
Cool. That's actually really good to hear. I'm gonna clean up. I need to talk to Whistler when he gets back. And I'll relieve one of you once I'm done getting cleaned up. I probably smell really bad, and I'm sorry, guys.
You don't smell as bad as Brutus.
Does anyone ever?
I was going to say, I mean, worse than normal. Like,
Yeah.
I imagine that he's making an effort now that he's remembered that he's coated in brain to like lean away from people and like stand in the doorway where there's airflow to kind of keep it away.
So I know that Sashi can do like just a simple cleanup in the temple unless there's some sort of bathing area. After Whistler activated it, I don't know if we ever went over if there was a bathing area.
There is not.
Is there a bathhouse in town?
There's the Flower and Sickle and the Copper Coral. Both of them have baths available.
I think I will go to the Copper Coral because I haven't talked to Chef in a while. Anyhow, I want to see how he's doing. But that's probably just a really quick because he's still apprenticing under Don.
Yeah, he's probably like just like yeah, because he's other stuff to do.
Yeah, it would just be like a note, really. It wouldn't really be a full conversation. But so yeah, I'll go to the Copper Coral to get cleaned up.
Yeah. Anybody else?
When I do get back, depending on however much time is left in the day, I'm just using that to study spells that I found and have been downloaded into my brain. So I don't know how many hours there are.
Okay, you still have like 6 hours before nightfall. So
Okay, cool. So I'm going to use all 6 of those to do stuff. Assuming, well, except for I'll probably be interrupted when Sashi gets back, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Zashi, I'd say Zashi and Brutus, your cleanups, you probably indulge a little bit. Takes 3-4 hours to do that. Dako, you're spending all day
He's
making.
taking this threat of invasion very seriously.
And Storm still don't have anything to do.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Before Sashi heads back, she will write a note to the Yonti prince regarding that she has something she needs to discuss with him and possibly his counselors.
Okay.
To and request to arrange a time that works for both of them to meet and discuss it.
Cool.
And that's just a note that goes to him.
Okay. You send that note. Let's see. And then Zashi and Whistler meet back up at the temple, or everybody does, as night begins to fall.
So Sashi will find Whistler and kind of sit down next to him and wait for him to have a moment in whatever he's doing, because it looks to her like he's probably writing things down in his magic book, as she mentally calls it. And she doesn't want to interrupt him, but she wants to be there so that he can see that she needs to talk to him. And
Okay.
she'll wait until he has a break.
Well, as soon as he realizes that she's there waiting for him, he will stop because it's Sashi.
Okay. We have a problem. I went and checked on the staff and the diamond, and that hallowed spell, something's chipping away at it.
Chip, 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 chip.
Yeah, it's like it's slowly being chipped away. Something is causing it to go away.
I will walk over there and I'll walk over to where the hollow spell is and try to see if I can figure out what's chipping away at it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check. Um, 17. Beyond that, it's not on this plane. It's a little hard to identify. It's definitely something's trying to get in. Something's trying to reclaim the staff.
Okay.
Give me a
But
perception check.
The staff's not cutting out. Something's cutting in.
Yeah. Give me a perception check. Okay. So Zashi didn't notice because she was super, super exhausted and her investigation check was shit. So while the staff is still there, something else is missing.
The diamond's still there, right?
The diamond's gone. As is the stone that was supposed to drop on somebody.
Yeah, so I point that out.
Oh, Sashi groans and puts her head in her hands.
And actually, with that perception check, you actually notice a bunch of there seems to be a pile of dust on the ground around the pedestal that wasn't there before, like dirt
Okay.
of a different.
Seems like
It seems like something was disintegrated.
oh. Oh. Yeah, well I collect some of that dirt. And then I give an oh well and I walk out.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine that Zashi just kind of plops down, not next to the Staff of Orcus, but still in the hallowed spell. And King kind of lays down beside her. She's actually spending the night in that tomb, sleeping. But
Okay.
she doesn't actually leave the hallowed spell that night.
When I realize she's not coming back, I will walk back with blankets and a pillow and then leave again.
Okay. Okay. So that was your evening. As night falls, I need Storm and Whistler both to make me wisdom saving throws. Whistler, your DC is 21. Storm, your DC is 18.
Well, I'm still my saving throws are terrible. I'm still going to probably fail.
Well, I suck.
Okay. And Storm barely failed.
Yeah, and I have a -1.
Yeah. Okay, so do Whistler first, because yours is going to be a little bit more of a cinematic. You see a large desiccated dragon. Dark crystal growths erupting from its body everywhere. A missing
Rise, my minions.
a missing left hand and a missing eye. Flames coming out of the eye socket. Thank you for the new body. That skeleton did not hold up very long. This one should be better. At which point it turns to you, opens its mouth, and this gout of greenish flame just envelops your body. You are going to start with a point of exhaustion. You do get no benefit from the long rest as you fail from a dream spell.
Awesome.
Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs.
Storm. You are in front of a familiar dais. A large, rotund creature looks down at you. The hallowed spell was a surprise.
Well, Storm doesn't know anything about really the hallowed spell, so.
Okay.
But I'd just be like, my coworkers decided to put it there. So if there's something going on there, then I'm not sure what's going on.
It's causing me more work. It was not. I'm
Well,
not pleased.
Well, do you have a way to get rid of the hallowed spell?
It's just going to take me time, and I really don't like to work, Storm.
Yeah, me neither. So we have that in common. But I mean, if you have something to speed up the process, I'll see what I can do. But I don't understand the hallowed spell.
If you just dispel the hallowed spell, I can come through.
I don't think I can do that.
Then I'm gonna have to punish you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I really do like you, Storm. And pain just racks your body.
Awesome.
You also are affected by the dream spell and take a point of exhaustion and get no benefit from the long rest.
You guys don't have good dreams. You need to have a nightcap or something.
I don't think that would help.
Nightcap of holy water or something. I don't know. A couple shots before bed.
Whether or not my dream was good is a matter of perspective.
It's more the exhaustion part.
Yeah.
That's the not good dream bit.
Okay. And the next day comes. Those is Storm and Whistler hiding the fact that they did not get a good night's sleep?
I have a 8 charisma. I don't think I can hide anything.
Storm doesn't hide it. He has a high charisma, but he still doesn't hide it.
Actually, and as you guys wake up, you see a bunch of rats carrying books inside of the temple. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I think we were all contemplating this wonderfully adorable image.
They're varying books. Some of them are on gemstones. Some of them are on experiments. One is a bright green book that just seems to be lab records. And then in the middle of all this is a bottle with a ship in it.
Oh my god, I love it. Can I go pick it up very delicately?
Yeah.
I very delicately pick it up and am in awe.
It's not a particular, like, it doesn't look like a particularly big ship. It looks like a two-masted brig. Like, usually when you see ships in the bottle, they're like these galleons and these huge ships. This is
Fancies.
more like a two-masted brigantine or
I'm still sure this is something Brutus would never have seen, so he'll just sit cross-legged on the floor with the rats to be closer to them and say, "This is astonishing. This is amazing. How'd you do this?" I've decided.
Once they deposit the
leave.
books, the rats all scurry away, by the way. They don't really say anything.
Well, thank you.
Sasha,
I will slowly and crappily ritually cast detect magic.
There seems to be transmutation on the bottle. Technically on the ship too, but on the it seems like the actual magical part of this is the bottle itself.
Okay, what aura? But transmutation, right?
Yeah, transmutation.
Okay.
It's very similar to your enlarge reduce spell, just being very, very, very powerful version of it.
Cool.
Sashi returns from the crypt, has some breakfast, and immediately goes to the bright green journal and attempts to read it.
What languages do you speak?
Abyssal, Common, and Draconic.
Okay, so you can kind of understand it. It's a very archaic version of Draconic, and I do need an intelligence check.
Okay. 16?
And go ahead and Storm, go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Charisma check?
Yeah.
Just a saving throw or a straight check?
Straight check. Okay. Yeah, it happens.
Okay.
You no longer have a point of exhaustion. As soon as you do that, your exhaustion's cleared. So I forgot, Zashi, what were you doing? Sorry.
Reading the green book.
Okay. It's really dense. It's mainly like a examination of the biology of some creatures. It looks like somebody was doing experiments on themselves and on various relatives. There's strength things. It's talking about how Amy seems to have some ability over time and space. How Safi, the author has increased the psionic potential of his sister Safi by tenfold, although now she can't control it. This is, and it seems to be written by somebody very young, actually. Like, this isn't. There's also, it's a diary. It's a lab journal and a diary, and like training things. Is there anything specific, any specific information you want to glean?
I think
It does talk about Toby's like telekinetic ability and Ruby's healing abilities.
I think outside of like their specific abilities, and we already know a little bit about the personality, but anything about Opal.
There's no mention of Opal at all. Well, at the very end, there would be no mention of Opal in this book at all.
Okay. set that aside.
I will say at the very end, there's like, if only I could make could make one that was perfect.
Okay. Yeah, grab another book randomly and start attempting to read it.
Okay.
Except that it's something I can't read, I just set it aside and grab something else.
Roll me a d6. Yeah, you can't read it.
Okay. Yeah, Zashi is going to set it aside, grab another one, and she's going to do this probably for most of the day.
You pick up a book about how to build a boat.
Awesome.
It was like large construction designs, from like all the way as small as like a kayak to like there's blueprints for like a ship of the line. Like this book is very
Awesome. But yeah, that's what Zashi's going to be spending her morning doing, is reading through various books, or attempting to. So I don't want to take up everyone else's time going through each and every single book. So
okay.
If there's anything that Zashi can't read that Brutus can in Minotaur, Elvish, or Deep Speech, then Brutus will help. But those are his other choices.
Most of them are in Elven, so I will say the book that she kind of tossed away
just set aside.
was a book on aberrations. It's in both Elven and Deep Speech, which is why Zashi couldn't.
Okay. I
Um,
could.
there's
explain what the
actually
book
a
is.
fairly good like examination of the hive in there. Interesting to you?
Ooh,
Like
yes.
it's very speculative, like about the hive's motivations and their origin.
Mhm.
And then there's also a fairly detailed passage on that which shall not be discussed. It's a very it's a very weird text because it's like trying to talk about something that it obviously
Without-
can't talk about.
Yeah, without invoking it.
Yeah.
There's a certain World of the Night type situation.
Yeah, it's very.
I like it. Okay. Brutus will read all of that.
The discussion of the swarm seems to be mainly like, again, it's very has an anatomy and about how easy they relatively are easy to kill, but there's so many of them and they breed so very, very fast.
Yeah.
And then there's discussion of like, are they actually a problem? They are obviously trying to do something, and it has to do with the core of the planet, which is probably not a good thing, but at the same time they're like, it's taking them forever, and like there's some calculations, and the scientist here is basically saying that unless something drastic changes, the sun will go out before they actually make it to the core.
Okay.
Okay, so you're talking about the Formians that time, correct?
Yeah, the hive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll read all that and share it to anyone who wants to know what it says.
As for and as I said, the other one, it's very like, it's very weird. It's really dense and really hard to like get any actual information about this creature.
Okay.
Anybody else? Is Taco still fortifying his place?
It's what he knows how to do.
Okay, give me another one of those charisma checks with advantage, because I'm assuming Jay is still helping you out, glamming it up.
Yes.
All right, so it's this plus
And
3.
Fuego.
Okay,
Get it roll.
it's a pretty. You have a pretty fortified gladiator pit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to do anything?
Once that's already up there, he's probably going to start the underground stuff.
Okay.
Like the winding, circuitous secret path out of the city that could be used for skirmishing in case we're being chased.
Okay, and so what I'm gonna, Chester, I'm going to eventually ask you to please give me a map of this.
I'd probably be consulting Brutus on that actually also, because he's probably feeling inspired from the giant maze that Brutus led us through.
Yeah, I could help make it a little labyrinthian.
Yeah, trying to get Brutus to help him recreate something to that effect.
It is in my
On
blood.
their own.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
need a map of this place at some point.
Also, I appreciate you volunteering me.
to make the map. That's what he just did.
Yeah, you and I will chat and I'll make the map.
She's like, we're gonna chat with
Yeah,
my
we're
knife.
gonna chat. Well, I already have messages for all of you for
Yeah.
other shit, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yes, that'll be included now. Okay.
I have to go pick up my armor.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You pick up your armor. It's but your shield is ready. Like it doesn't, and you see that it has the big socket in it. And
Okay.
Oh.
And I hold it up to her, and I turn around. I try to like put my arm in it and stuff, and then I make like puppy dog eyes.
she helps you into your armor.
Okay.
How does a
So
bird
now I'm
make
I'm a good imitator.
True.
And then with exhaustion and disadvantage to everything because I'm not proficient with any of this stuff.
And you
gonna
can't cast spells because you're in
and I
armor that
can't
you're.
cast spells. So I'm gonna waddle over back to the jeweler.
Okay.
I'm gonna show him the shield, try to minor illusion the gem into the socket and fail because I can't cast spells, and spend a bunch of time just doing this, and then just hopefully point it wherever the gem is and point to it.
Oh, he's like, hey, hold on, give me a second. This is his insight to figure out what the hell you're doing. Oh, okay, he figures it out. It takes him a bit. He's not the brightest person in the world, but
That's probably the gem's probably not done. I'm assuming that takes a little.
yeah, no, he does actually like kind of take some measurements actually to make sure that he gets the socket correctly.
Oh, I just hand him the shield.
Okay. Oh yeah, then he'll take the
Hold on to
shield and
for a while.
you actually see him getting to work.
And then I try to waddle back on
Okay.
to the church, probably collapse in the doorway.
Yeah. All of you
Big
see a
crash of
very,
metal.
very shiny Whistler.
Better hide him from Brutus, or not or from Bill.
I
Yeah,
imagine Sasha
same.
looks over her shoulder at him in the doorway, hopefully with one of the like something on gemstones or something similar book in her hand. She goes, I thought he couldn't wear armor.
I hold up the ship in a
I stand
bottle.
up and I do this and then fall over again.
I feel like you stand up and then like you probably fell on your face, so you stand up and then you overcorrect and just plunk.
Should we help him up?
Do you want help or are you conditioning? Because this could be an exercise thing. Could be training its core, you know?
Yeah, could be.
He's doing squats.
Help.
Mhm.
And I start to take the armor off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Brutus
I'll go.
will-
Yeah, we'll go assist.
Yeah.
And once it's off, I run and grab my little 1 pound weight and start.
That
Brutus
reminds
will
me.
start offering you advice and like personal trainer shit of like, do you want to do some calisthenics together? Like I could shoot. Brutus will
Oh yeah,
start
he's
offering
totally down for it. But he's also still at exhaustion too. So
The afternoon, Zashi actually starts setting up a room for Bill and Brutus as a workout room, and she takes out the 2 weights that she took from the area and puts it in there and starts setting up some of the things that she's seen them do so that they can use. So the morning she spends on books, the afternoon she spends on this plan she had for Brutus and Bill specifically, and sets up a workout room for them.
Yes. You just can't have any mirrors in it.
Yeah, there's no mirrors, none whatsoever.
Taco puts up a sign: "No selfies in the gym."
Everybody's like, what's a selfie?
So that's I think that covers your day. That we're about at the end of this session. I would ask, what are you guys planning on doing next session so that I can have
Well,
Plan.
I say we kill the dragon. Oh,
Well,
sorry.
after researching, Zashi is hoping that we can figure out how to either use the heart or turn the heart into some sort of jewelry that will give us some control over the time dilation. But she needs help with that.
okay. You actually, so I will say this. You're pretty sure, because you guys probably spend a lot of the day researching the gem. There's a few things. You could fashion amulets out of this, like break this gem up and fashion amulets out of it to give yourself some amount of protection versus the time dilation.
Okay.
Which would be really powerful because you basically be, while you're in the area, it would basically function like you have haste spell on you while you're in the area of the time dilation. However, the moment you break that heart, the time dilation will slowly dissipate. You could actually kill the entire time dilation by annihilating the gem, by basically disintegrating it. And it would kill the time dilation of the entire area.
When Zashi realizes that, she is going to bring up the problem that if we do that, Resplendent might die rapidly.
Yeah. Don't want that.
But if you break it into small things, the time dilation will slowly fade, but you also get some pretty powerful magical abilities. The issue is you're not entirely sure how they'll control. In gameplay terms, that means every round it ends up working kind of like a blink spell. You'll roll a 1d20 on a 15 or higher. You'll function as though you have haste cast on you for that turn.
Okay.
While you're in the time dilation field.
If we were to break it, would that also kill Resplendent? Like, if we were to do this and make it these amulets?
You're not entirely sure it'll kill Resplendent. Resplendent will definitely age, but but if the field's slowly dissipating, it depends upon how it's impossible to calculate how slowly the field would dissipate.
Okay.
And you do know it would cause Resplendent a massive amounts of pain if you were to just shatter the crystal, because she would age all at once.
Yeah, I don't see the point in that, so let's make some amulets.
Whistler will also make an illusion of a crumbling tower and say ka-ching, and then turn that illusion into a pile of rocks and say ka-ching.
You want to loot it before we trash it. Brutus will hold up the ship model.
So Zashi will say, I am totally on board with just making amulets. I don't want to cause Resplendent any pain or cause her to age faster than she already is. And if we've just got the amulets, I mean, if we try to go into that tower with them in, it's probably going to be a problem, maybe. We'll have to see when we go into the time dilation again, but if we just shatter this, that tower is definitely going to crash.
Yeah,
But how are we getting up to it anyway?
The boat. You got boats.
That fly?
The boats
Is
to get
it a
to it,
boat?
yeah. Which is something that Whistler is planning to do the next day, is to get our followers to build us a jet boat.
So since we figured this out, I guess next session we'll get the amulets made and then maybe go after the nearest dragon that's not Topaz.
Okay.
I vote for Ruby.
Well, I would love to meet Ruby because we might actually be able to reason and ally with them, and maybe don't have to kill them at all.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you don't want to. You don't want to have to deal with Safi yet. Oh.
Well, if Safi's the closest one, then we're going to deal with Safi. It really depends on who's closest.
Yeah. We're just gonna head to whatever one's closest, I think.
Technically, the closest one would be the one that's in the tower, in the basement of the tower.
Well, we wanted to go to the tower to loot it anyway. Do we want to focus on going to the tower, loading up the ships?
Well,
Are they all in the city?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the time dilation is going to slowly go away, we don't know how fast that's going to happen, then the tower probably should be our next target if Daco and Whistler both want to loot it before it crashes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down for that.
I guess that's our plan, Scott.
Okay, sweet. I will have the dungeon ready for you next week.
Do-do-do.
Yay!
That's going to be a fun one, because at least now you guys can actually move around the tower. If you tried to go